I ditched out on. We hit the road when it was going to rain, and
Do you know, that seems like a very long time ago.
doesn't it?
That's probably why I'm a little bit tired. We've been in San Martino since then on a discovery weekend, and like this sounds like a complaint. It really isn't. I'm not complaining. It's just like, wow, we are squeezing so much into life here in Portugal. And that lunch that you mentioned is coming back to me now. That's where we were sat in the wonderful hotel in Tamar, with the incredible maitre d' there, who looked after you very well, didn't he? And us on the Saturday night. And then we rejoined him on the Sunday afternoon and had a fabulous meal at a long table, gumpers from all over the country. It was really superb. It was peeing down with rain outside.
We left just in time because we got such great weather, when we were hiking around in the morning, and we went through the tours and meetups. I think we got a few sprinkles that first night. But it really was quite beautiful, because sometimes it gets to be too hot in Tomar, right? Yeah. So it was just perfect to have that little bit of overcast, and then the rain that pokes in. Down here, we're always grateful for it because it's rare. So but
would you like to see some of the footage from Tamar?
Yeah, except I look like that dress, and then me getting. I've had to buy fat pants, everybody. Eating so much good food here. I'm like, it's time for a diet when you don't have your camera aimed down and a filter on you.
It sounds like there's an Instagram or YouTube channel in this. You gave up a couple of life hacks right there. So fat pants and camera angles and filters. Is that the holy trinity of looking good on camera?
Sisterhood of the trying not to get too much fat pants. And then, we've got the sisterhood instead of the traveling pants. Now we've got the traveling coat. Are we going to do that?
I don't know. This is a new world to me, but it sounds like one I and others might need to know about here. So
I left my jacket.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. But that's nothing to do with the same theme here, is it? Of fat pants. This is
no. It is because the sisterhood of the traveling pants.
Right.
Right. Sorry, that's totally a girl movie. You would know nothing about it.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Big movie. And then there's instead of doing that, because they all take pants and go around the world and loan them to each other. So this would be the gumperhood of the traveling coat or jacket. Do you say jacket or coat?
I see you. Yes.
I love mine. So we should at the next event give it to somebody else, and somebody else. They take a picture of it, put their business card in it, pass it around to all the trips, and eventually we'll see where it goes.
I think that's a great idea. And this sprung from Bobby being on the screen recently. And you came up, didn't you? And you said hi on the screen. And he said, "I've got your coat in the back of my car." And it was like, oh, you might want to explain that. So which then spun out, didn't it, into how your coat might go in other people's cars and even around the world and be photographed on other people. Okay. And then they put their business card in the pocket. Right. This Veronica's coat going around the world. Yes, definitely. We've got all sorts of series, haven't we? It's not just the Englishman, the Irishman, and a special guest walk into a bar. We've got Veronica's coat as well, with its own life and journeys around the world too, beginning it here in Portugal. So did you see the footage then? Did you see a little bit of the footage of Tamar?
Yeah, I wish I could watch every single day, and that's proof positive why you must watch every day, or you won't know what's being said. So and you got to watch or listen every day.
All right. Well, it's up for those of you who haven't seen it. A lovely teaser from Andy is up on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, and you can get to see the wonderful Gary and John. Their Chinese terriers became known over that weekend for reasons we're still not entirely sure about. But those two dressed as Templar Knights. The mystery of the Templar statue revealed to us as well in all its glory. Over that
I don't know if it was the real mystery.
And a great weekend had by all. Oh, yes, and coming back full circle to that wonderful meal that afternoon. It was great. It was lovely to be in and out of the rain. That's happened to me a couple of times in Tamar. It's absolutely peed down there. And it's nice to get inside and eat some Portuguese food and stay warm and let the steam evaporate from your clothes. So by dessert, you're dry again. Yeah, it was really lovely. You would have had a lot of fun, Amy. We so bummed we missed the Tamar out in the Global Nobles. We missed you there, but hopefully maybe we'll see you in Coimbra, which is the next one on the 9th and 10th of December. Hope you can join us there.
Oh, and hello to the Whitbeys. They were just here for a few weeks.
They were. We saw them in San Martino every weekend. Yeah,
hello.
So it's nice and sunny there, is it? Let's have a look at your sunrise then. Let's have a look at that sunrise coming up there.
It's beautiful. When we
BRS.
get a little clouds, it's nice.
Okay, all right. I've got many videos here. I'm hoping this is the one, Veronica. Let me just click on it and see.
Okay, now we're up on the.
Is it? This definitely not.
Good morning, Portugal. The sun's just coming up over Vila Real de Santo Antonio. There's the marina. There's the river and the ocean. Everybody's rushing off to work. It's just before 8. But what a beautiful sunrise. I love that I have an east exposure so that way I can see the sunrise every day. And then over there, my friends, that's Spain. That's Ayamonte, Spain. And you can take the ferry from Vila Real de Santo Antonio to Spain, or you can hop the bridge. Where's the bridge? There's the bridge between Spain and Portugal. So you can drive, or for us, it's so easy because we're just right here, literally in front of my house is the ferry boat. That's the ferry boat that goes to Spain, and he's just a few euros, and it takes 9 minutes. Go over for some tapas, some shopping, and come on back. But wow, what a beautiful morning, beautiful sunset. Good morning, Portugal, from your American in Portugal.
Thank you very much for that,
There's
Veronica.
Glimmer every day. Glimmer.
I mean, talking of glimmers, that's one right there, isn't it, this morning? What sort of time was that?
That was just before 8. So now the sun's already up. It's amazing in, a matter of an hour. You have to catch it right as it's sneaking up. That's why I put it in the photo behind me. It almost looks like a heart, like the reflection in the clouds of the sun.
Yes, very nice, very beautiful. A glimmer there. So definitely we're getting the idea, aren't we, of this glimmer, which is the opposite of a trigger. And the more you look out for them, the more you'll see in your life. Last time we saw that view from your balcony there, there were trees had fallen over. It was a right old mess, wasn't it? Flooded, storm damage. It looks like they've cleaned everything up and it's back to normal.
Oh yeah, they were out so fast. I was so proud of our town. I mean, one guy was actually cutting down the rest of a tree during the rain. I'm like, dude, there's a fallen power line in that tree. Get away from the water. The mom and me can't stop. Get away, you're going to get electrocuted.
Yeah. We've got David Hardy here as well. That's caught my eye. A little heart's come through from David Hardy this morning. Good morning to you. Are you streaming out on your channel as well?
Yes, Veronica? I hit the button.
It's working. That caught my eye. We're seeing David Hardy from your community. So listen up, all you GMP co-hosts. You can push the button just as Veronica did this morning when you're on the screen and stream it out to your community. So good morning to David Hardy from Veronica's community this morning. And we also heard earlier on, did we not, from another Melissa Coates. There we go. Melissa Coates is here as well.
Okay, we have 4 new residents that just flew home to America to get their visas, because you have to fly back to get the little sticker in your passport if you come here before you get it. And we have 4 that just got them this week. So
excellent. So congratulations, parabéns. Should we give them a little bit of a cock-a-doodle-doo on that? Let's. So if you could pass this on, Veronica. This is for those 4 people.
And then the other one are Tracy and Bobby. So big call out to Melissa and Bob. And we were sitting around the other day and we had Bob, Bobby, and like a Jim. So congratulations to the 4 of them. We went out and had a big celebration Monday night, Sunday night. I can't remember. It's been a crazy week, but they're here and it's so exciting. So big shout out. Tracy and Bobby are fans of yours. She watches almost every day.
Oh, so, that's really kind. Hi, thank you for that.
Tracy, I'm sure she's here.
Wonderful. Thank you very much indeed. This thing about partying all the time. For anyone who's come to Portugal to retire, it's not happening, is it? I mean, this not just me who's a bit knackered from so much partying and socializing, having so much fun. And as I say, it's not a complaint; it's just a fact. It's just a
Your
fact.
earlier point to walking to town
Yeah.
and walking back, it's harder to walk back than it is to walk to town. Let me be clear. Portugal is not for everyone. If you're an alcoholic, this is not for you because the alcohol is inexpensive. It's fun. You can meet somebody every day, every night when you're in like a
Yes.
walkable town. So
Yeah. And if you're thinking of coming here to live a really quiet life, and get thin as well, you know, and like, yeah, I mean, I guess it's possible. It is possible, isn't it, to go, buy a place in central Portugal or up a mountain somewhere, and and sit at home by the fireplace reading a book. But actually, as it turns out, for most people, that's not how it works, is it? This quiet life of retirement is like, really, you need to buy, you burnt your organizer and your Filofax and all that sort of stuff. Then people are having to go to Flying Tiger to buy a scheduler planner, aren't they, to keep on
oh,
top
it's
of all
not
these.
even that. You just walk to town to pick up something, I don't have one of those. I'm trying to look for it. I print all the invitations and things and put them in a little. Um, but you know what? We do have to really appreciate it. I'm flying home today to California, and I do call it the land of strip malls and housing developments. We don't have these really cute squares where you can just go and hang out and have a coffee and meet your friends. I mean, you've got to make appointments with your friends, pick a restaurant, go to the restaurant, be rushed through dinner so the next one can be seated. We really do live in paradise. I mean, this, for all our joking around and stuff, it's just so special and it's magic here. And I know, you have pubs where you come from, and you have community gathering spots, but in California, we don't. Boston, I think, has a little bit more. The East Coast has a bit more. But when I go home, I'm like, oh, you do have to have your schedule completely full, or you won't have a reservation or a table and you have to drive home. So there definitely won't be drinking. So
that's interesting. So you're popping home, to that home.
No, to the last place I lived. Here we go.
Yeah, okay, let's call it the last place you lived. And yeah, it's true, isn't it? We can take this lifestyle for granted, where you can walk to town. Yesterday, our meet up in San Martino de Porto, we were at a different venue, and the best seats in the bay, really, because you're looking square onto the opening of the bay. And how lucky we are to be there. And another one of those glimmers is we're not being rushed here. No one's coming up and saying, have you done with that, or are you still working on it, or or whatever those.
Once you flag them down, they won't even bring another drink, right? Because they're like, they don't want to bug you.
Yes. And you can begin to take that for granted and ease into that as a daily way of life, as we've just described.
Yes. Whatever problems you have when you're migrating here, when you're moving here, will come with you, because you're wherever you are, that's where you're at. Okay. So I highly recommend sort your problems, unless coming here is going to help solve them, stress and work and the rat race and getting off of that treadmill of just spinning around in circles like the little mouse.
Yeah. Well, that said, and that's the name of the show today, the politics of property. For some people who we talk about the lifestyle we've just been describing quite a lot. It's part of the whole glimmer effect of being here in Portugal, and it's been a dramatic week in politics. And for those people who you're probably talking to, who are considering Portugal, it can feel a little bit unsettling, can't it, or create some insecurity. What's going on over there? Your prime minister's resigned. There's this NHR thing going on. The golden visa changed a while back, so there's no property involved in that anymore. What sort of conversations are you having, Veronica, with people who've been a little bit unsettled by Portuguese politics in the last week?
So to point number one, which is politics. Okay, look at our country. So everybody's like, oh, it's politics, it's normal, whatever. Even the mayor of LA had, when my husband retired from the Air Force before he passed away, he encouraged him to run for office. And it was a very nonpartisan local office. And it was so dirty right from the get-go that we quit, because first we said we'd use our own money. I was making great money at the time, and we're going to use our own money for this political campaign. And I mean, immediately things were being printed in the newspaper that not only weren't true, I'm like, where did this even come from? And after about 3 weeks, we quit. So for people who really do have he was really trying to help the community. He was retired. He had the time for it. We don't have the stomach for it. So I think in general, most people know when you get that high up, not everybody, but a big chunk of them are jaded. They've had to horse trade. They have to be a narcissist to not let those comments hurt you.
Yes.
You know, seriously, because it's hurtful. I'm like, these people suck. Screw them. Like, you know what? Have the other guy. He sucks. He's going to screw it up for you. Good. You know, have you know, one group run everything and run through this. So to that point, I think we're just used to politics is normal. A lot of us, when we're here, we're like, oh well, you know, he'll resign. Someone else will be in, and we'll, you know, there's not a lot we can do about it here. A lot of us aren't active in the political life like we were back home, where we were helping get people elected or trying to make a difference. So here you kind of go, well, we're a guest in their country and it's their decision. So if it really truly is their decision for NHR to go away, which I honestly don't believe that it's had a big enough conversation. It just like all of a sudden popped up. You know, golden visa, we knew for years that was going to go away. And that golden visa does break my heart because I have a lot of South African friends here. They can't get here on the other visas because they're still an apartheid country. So the only way in was the golden visa. And they could afford to buy a home here, but they can't do those other investment schemes. So it's unfortunate. And then the third point, golden visa and NHR. So the conversations we're having, some people are bummed about it. The people that are here are going to try to do the rush approach. There's a few ways to try to speed up, depending on how long you've been here. If you can get in the system before December, and then a lot of us are kind of also just kind of hoping that for those that are still transitioning into next year, that maybe this political snafu and resignment was a good thing. Maybe you know, they're not going to vote on it. And we keep hearing every day something different, right? It is going to get passed. It isn't going to get passed. But at this point, it's all opinion. So I don't like to comment too much on it. I share the news, you know, my newsletter, and I share the news. And then I kind of go, we just have to wait. When we overanalyze it too much, it could scare people away that then it doesn't happen. You know, golden visas years from when we first heard it.
Yes, that's right. So we that's very important to us here, is to debunk, demystify what's going on, because that's the you make some good points about politics and how things get polarized, generalized, scandalized even for political advantage. And that can end up a long way from the actual facts of the situation. And interestingly, I was sent some Portuguese videos. I need some help with this, actually. I was sent some videos that were exactly about debunking what's going on with the NHR even at the moment. This is a series of videos that are being published on LinkedIn in Portuguese. So I can't just give you those this morning, but there's one that I've got sent 2 videos, and apparently there are more to come, which are somewhat political, but also I think in the grander sort of, they're like sort of socio-political. They are commentary from a less scandalous and sensational place, really considering what the impact of the end of the NHR means, and is the information we're working on actually true at the moment. So I'm going to get some help today in translating those, so we get some information that's had the heat taken out of it. And that's part of the problem with the conversation about all of these things. It gets emotional very quickly because we're talking about people's lives, aren't we? When it comes to immigrants, foreigners, expats moving to Portugal, their first thought is, oh my God, you know, this is going to ruin my plans. And of course, that is a very visceral and emotional and personal thing. And we need to do what we can to help people with that. OLP is here. Hello, lovely to see you. Hi from Montana this morning. And we also had thanks from Melissa for the cock-a-doodle-doo. So anything else to say on that? I mean, one of the problems we've noted here, of course, Veronica, is that
that's from Melissa. Sorry, I couldn't resist. I just love her to death. She's amazing. Part of our community here.
You actually sort of plucked a cockerel from the heavens. Then that was quite extraordinary.
Oh, did it come from the sky?
Like a goddess. Like, I'll just give you a cock-a-doodle-doo.
Here you go, Melissa. Just for you, Melissa. Wait, that didn't work. From the sunshine straight to you, and we just love you, and Bobby and Tracy.
Yeah, hi there. Thank you.
Our
for
newbies, our newest newbies.
Very welcome to a big cock-a-doodle-doo first thing in the morning. Okay, yeah, we were talking about and how this affects the confidence of people, you know, who are thinking of coming here. They're miles away. They're not seeing the same reporting about the politics. They're just seeing the headlines, if they see anything at all, actually,
Right.
that the prime minister has resigned. So, is there anything more to say on that about the confidence and among the clients and people you talk to, and their plans coming from United States, for example, are coming over to Portugal?
I think most of them are already the people that jump through hoops to get here, so they have a good attitude, you know, like
Yeah.
Melissa and Tracy, like, they're gonna do what they can, and, they're sharing resources, which is nice because, you know, one I gave one of my CPAs to, and the other one she was using an immigration service, so they're working together to see if one of them might be able to get them into the system, because if they can get into the system and prove that they tried to get it here, like they lived here and got their visa, they won't have their SCF appointment for a few months from now. But if they can prove they tried, they're thinking they at least will have a case in the future to try to get NHR. For many people, NHR just doesn't affect them. For the regular
Right.
pension people, or you know, it might be minor, but you know, they were going to pay taxes on it anyway. So when you look at the total cost, and then you look at the cost in America, and you add in your health insurance, which can be $1,000 to $3,000 a month, you know, that more than covers the taxes. It gives you that freedom to come over, and the lower cost of living when we're talking food and dining out. I always want to preface that with food when you're in the grocery store is about the same as the United States, and I think probably Great Britain as well, right? It's pretty something that's a euro or a pound or a dollar is pretty much about that. It's not, you know, and farmers markets are great and wonderful. There's a bit of a discount there, but well, homeowners insurance is less here. Your car insurance is less here. So you take all of those things and you get the big picture of, okay, so I might pay a little bit more in taxes, but I'm saving it here. And is it really about the lifestyle and retiring or working remotely here versus New York City, right? So
Yeah,
those are
thanks.
weighing out.
Thanks for sort of taking it back to the big picture. And sorry if that's a repetition for some people, because you know some people are so over it already. It's like, you know, I've figured out.
Sorry, guys.
No, but I mean, for those who haven't got the memo or aren't hearing this message, to run the numbers.
And we
And
push the button, so the ones in America watching now.
Yes. So if you are one of those people who is still concerned, we are here to help. We're not trying to sort of shoo the issue away, because it is still an important issue for those who it's important to. And we also acknowledge that for some people, they're so over it now. You know, they're going to make it happen before the end of December, or they've written it off. They know they're not going to make it. And they're fine about that because of all the other things you said, Veronica. You know, the other many other parts of a great lifestyle here far outweigh the fact that the NHR is disappearing at the end of the year. And here's another reason: good wine is cheaper in Portugal. That's so.
Oh, yeah.
that remains the case, which is a good cheer to you at 2:22 in the morning. So that's amazing. Thank you to anyone who stays up or is woken up by us at these ungodly hours. So thank you very much for that. We've got a nice little vid from you, haven't we, to share? Tell us a little bit about this.
Oh, okay. So one of the things you can do here that you can't do in America is live next to a palace, in a palace annex. So this is just a couple quick clips. I was doing them late at night last night. I've been so swamped since I took the trip to up by Estoril and Cascais on the outskirts, Greater Lisbon. For, you know, the people don't know, the Greater Lisbon area facing the river is Paços de Arcos. And I always say the wrong Paços because the little C with the squiggle is a sh. Paços de Arcos. Paços de Arcos. So Paços de Arcos, one of my friends and developers is developing 3 units attached to like the palace property. So you have access. Well, 2 of them are already sold, but I still wanted to share this as a possibility here. Just a few shots, a few videos, again, quick clips. So it's just a minute and a half. Of what it looks like in the area, and you literally have access to the palace. So we went there for dinner. They have gardens, they have a spa, they have a pool, and then you have this gorgeous 3-story apartment looking straight out through this amazing little walkable city. So
how lovely. Okay, so we've got Carl Hyde from the agency is sharing with us a lovely property as well. So we'll have a look at this one that Veronica has for us, and then later on when Carl joins us, we're looking at a fantastic country estate in Cascais as well. If you want to meet Carl, he's coming with colleague Christopher Kirby Higgs.
Christopher, I love Christopher.
Well, they're coming to see us next Wednesday. The meetup next Wednesday will be at the Storytellers Palace in San Martino de Porto. And I want to tell you about that menu that Marco's cooking up for us next Wednesday. It sounds brilliant. It sounds brilliant. And we're going to get there a bit earlier and start having a drinky poos in the Gatsby bar at about midday. Maybe only just coffee at that point, I should add. And actually, the Storytellers do really fine teas as well, lovely teas. They make a big deal about the teas that they've found. Oh, have you got tea in a teapot this morning? Very good. Excellent. Very British.
Everything you say happens, I swear. Like, I was like, oh, I want my teapot today. Oh, look at this lovely glimmer.
Yes, absolutely brilliant. So you can meet Carl and Christopher at the Storytellers next Wednesday. I'll say more about that a little bit later on when he joins us. Let's go to this palace now. Give us a location one more time, will you please, Veronica?
Paços de Arcos.
And the nearest big place that people will have heard of?
Estoril and Cascais.
Estoril. Okay, all right. All right, fantastic.
Check it out. This view could be yours. Look at that, just looking out the window. Bye, Grace. The gentleman in the dining area of the palace. Get your own. This loft is, I would live in the window down there and this window. Yes. Here's the palace and the town.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you for that, making that. That's wonderful there. Antonio of telling us Passo de Arcos, Irish municipality, Lisbon district. And I think if I've visualized that correctly, because I have sailed along the river there and looked back over to where we're talking about. And we're looking, we're between Lisbon and Estoril and Cascais, aren't we, in that particular part of the world?
So the important thing there is that that palace is where the king used to sit. And he would look down over the river as the ships would come in with all their gold. And remember the Portuguese years of exploration. So he would see all this beautiful loot, and then he would tax it. So from the palace, some of those views, you look down and there's a little building, and it's called Dina's Restaurant. And it still has the beautiful historic space inside. And that's Dina's was the way you paid your tax, was you paid in your dinas, and you go in there and it's just historical and lovely. And it's just, the king himself was there more than anywhere else because taxes.
Yes, it's like a toll road, I suppose, isn't it? You funnel people together and have a quick look at what's going on, charge them to use the road, and then see if there's anything taxable on board. Honestly, we're in the wrong business. All right. So that's close to a small river beach, Passo de Arcos, says Antonio, and there are several more a few minutes away with suburban trains every few minutes. That's why that's such a good location as well, Veronica, because you can get into town, can't you, in a matter of minutes, or go the other way, head towards Cascais, and you can be there. And so it's a fabulous location there, Estoril, Cascais, into the capital itself, and with that beautiful location in its own right, where you can enjoy the lifestyle we were talking about before, no doubt. Just walking, not driving from your home, walking into the locality, bumping into people, and the walk home a little bit more joyful and staggered, perhaps, than the walk in.
You roll home.
the roll home.
Wheelbarrow.
Super. Thanks for all your help on that, Antonio.
2-year-old wines.
We've got some talking points coming back to us from our earlier conversation, but I think we'll bring Carl Hyde on to join in because I'm sure he'll have a few things to say about that. So let's give him a nice big round of applause too and bring him onto the screen. Hola, bon dia. Good morning to you.
Morning.
Bon dia.
Oh, hey, let's get the stars of the show up on the top row there.
Oh, it's okay. I just sat back like.
Yeah, if you need to be hidden under a comment for a moment, just let me know in the private chat and I can do that. How are you, Carl? Oh, what's happened to him this morning? Was that distorted for you as well, Veronica? We've got a frozen Carl, I think, haven't we?
He's a cyborg. His kids
got a
must
nice
have
look on
kicked
his
him out
face.
of the living room again.
Yeah, he's got a lovely look. Oh, no, he's gone into pixelation now. This looks like it's drifting into our conversation tomorrow about AI. Carl, you're a little bit pixelated and frozen, and we've not been the most ideal of connections with you so far this morning. Let's see if we can improve on that. What?
AI took over Carl. That's what's going to happen. All of us on YouTube are going to just turn into bots.
Well, that would be quite a good advance, wouldn't it? When AI can sense that your connection's not very good, it can step in with a simulation of you, or just, you know, here are some pictures I took recently, or just show something a little bit more interesting than a frozen, pixelated picture of ourselves on the screen. Come on, AI, step up and do that for us. Carl, are you there now?
Yeah, well, I've just changed over to the 5G version on my connection. Is that better?
It's done the trick. It has done the trick. Much better. How are you this morning?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well indeed.
Good to
the
see
weather's
you.
improving, so all is well. Makes a big difference.
Good stuff. And I was just saying, looking forward to being in your company. If you want to meet this man in person, you can do so next week at the Storytellers Palace. And the event is now on the 4th Wednesday of every month. I'm not sure what we're doing for Christmas. We'll probably have to make that into a Christmas dinner there. On the 4th, I don't know what's the 4th Wednesday. It might even be Christmas Day. The 4th Wednesday of December will be the 27th. We probably won't be having a meetup in that case.
I'll be back later by then. So.
Oh, really? Right. Okay. Yeah, we can't have it without you, because I think you really enjoyed yourself last time. You were there for the filming as well. What do you make of the Storytellers Palace?
Beautiful. It's a beautiful place. Beautiful inside. Fantastic food, and yeah, the best part for me is the Gatsby bar. Got to say,
okay.
I could spend all day in there quite happily. I'm not sure
you did. You actually did.
We did. Yeah, we did. We claimed there were telephony issues, and that's why people couldn't contact us.
Because we were in the Gatsby bunker and there was no signal.
Yeah, I think there was a tower outage. One of the, like a NOS antenna was down or something like that. So I know my wife was trying to call me. I'm not sure she believed me that we were uncontactable, but there you go. You know.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I think Marco, being the perfect host, always offers that little ruse to people visiting. Yes, by the way, there's a cell tower has been knocked down in the wind.
Right. Sorry, I fell for it hook, line, and sinker. You see, if I believe it, then it's easier to tell that lie, isn't it? So it works perfectly for me. Yeah, there you go. That's how gullible I can be.
What you can look forward to next Wednesday. We know that Veronica can't join us. She's got plans. But if you can join us, we are starting. Oh, well, after a drink in the Gatsby bar that Carl seems to enjoy, we have lychee ceviche as a starter and a choice of mains of Oriental roses for the vegetarians. I don't think they're real roses as in the flowers, but they'll be shaped as roses from hand hewn from vegetables. The meat dish, if you want it, option is the black pork loin with blackberry sauce. I think you tried that, didn't you, Carl? And the bacalhau à gomes sa will be the fish dish. And to finish, crazy chocolate mousse. Soft drinks and coffee are included in the 3-course meal fee of €25. Any booze you buy is extra on top of that. So I'm sure we'll have a good time next Wednesday. Get in touch with me, RSVP direct, if you want to be involved next Wednesday. We had a question for you, Veronica, actually, with your plans. Are you flying out of Faro? Because that's that seems to be the word on the street at the moment, or not on the street, but at the airport, is more direct flights to America. Can you comment on that?
Yay! I put that out in my newsletter. Yes. It's
Right.
not until next May, and United is going to have a direct from Faro to New York. So,
Right.
you know, we love Lisbon, but the airport is known to have some issues. And then people tend to lose bags from Lisbon to here because they'll have a US carrier and then they'll have like TAP or another airline to pop them down from Lisbon to Faro. So that will be amazing because they already have an international to Canada.
Yeah.
And that's a long way to go to Canada and then back. So for me, though, I always go through London. I love London. What a amazing place. So I'll pop up from Faro to London, do an overnight at the Hilton. They have Hiltons at both Gatwick and at Heathrow, and then fly out the next morning for a 10 hour. And when you go London to LAX, it's direct and it's not as long of a flight because they can go over the poles versus all the way around, right?
Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you for that bit of info.
London or Dublin is a good way to pop over, and then you can come direct.
I think I saw the look on Carl's face there when you were saying how great London is. We love London, don't we, Carl? Okay.
Born American, come on. The history, the museum. I could live in the British Museum.
Yes. I think you have to be stolen from somewhere to live in the British Museum. Anyway, right. Over on GMP VIP as well, a word from Tom Smith. Thanks, Tom, for this, for posting that up overnight. More flights between the United States and Portugal, he's telling us here. Looks like we may, keyword, may be getting some more flights between Lisbon and the United States. For those around Porto, you aren't being left out either. And there's a link over there, GMP VIP. So thank you very much for that. Very thoughtful, Tom Smith. So that's looking a whole lot better, isn't it, for direct flights then to and from the United States? Something's happening, isn't it? I mean, that's an indication, I think, of Portugal's rising popularity. Another sign is rising property prices. However, are they slowing down? Question from Global Nobles, which I'll put to both of our property pundits here this morning. Carl Hyde from the agency and Veronica, of course, our American in Portugal who helps people move here. And I'm sure you'll have something to say about this. Veronica, it's been addressed to you in the first instance from the Global Nobles. Are real estate prices slowing down? Are you seeing any sign of that?
Well, I hate to do knee-jerk reactions because they just announced NHR, so we haven't really had time to see how that's going to wash out, you know, getting rid of NHR. I think some of our higher end people are still going to benefit because of, you know, the wealth tax and things, but it might be more global, a little less United States, because then we're hearing they're going to be double taxing pensions. So I think from an American standpoint, I am seeing a little bit of a slowdown in interest. That doesn't mean that our supply and demand issue is countered yet, because the supply and demand issue still exists. We still have more people living here and renting here who want to buy than we have the proper places for.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And these are similar themes that we have visited on your monthly appearances here, right? The main problem in Portugal is a lack of inventory, isn't it? And a lack of the sorts of houses people want when moving here. But what I picked up on what you were saying there is you are seeing a little bit of a slowdown, or not so much in the prices themselves, but in interest, a little bit. Is this the knock-on effect of a lack of confidence, maybe, that's been caused by some of the more obvious political outpourings and effects just recently?
It could be because I'm lazy and haven't put out many videos.
Oh, okay. So it's just Veronica's lack of videos at the moment.
So it could just be a lack of marketing. So they're just going somewhere else. And you've got the negative ones that, you know, have come out, the bloggers that are doing all the clickbait, and even some of our friends are trying the clickbait. So maybe they don't want the positive, what's great about it. They want to know, why does it suck to live here? And I might try one when I'm in
I see what you mean.
And go, okay, are Americans leaving California? I just left, okay, for a visit. And let's see if that's what it really is. People just, because more people have come into our blogging world and they're taking the negative approach, is that where we're seeing
okay. So your response there is based on a very personal one, is that you're seeing a slight drop of interest into your particular in-tray, your personal in-tray, and business is down a little bit. Okay, well that's still useful information, and of course, as you say there, probably the
We
best.
get hundreds and hundreds of people sending me emails, and now it's slowed down a bit.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that clarification. And of course, yes, if you want to get the clicks back up, all you need to say, I think, as you just suggested there, is, I'm leaving.
I am. I'll put a picture in front of the
just
place.
take a
I'm
picture of
leaving
yourself.
Portugal.
I'm
And then we'll
leaving.
see.
And do a face like that, and then in about 20 minutes into the video, say, I'm leaving just to visit US for a holiday, but I'm coming back again. So yeah, okay, try harder. All right, to
I
attract
hate the clickbait stuff. I just want it to be honest and clean. It's just me and my little camera. I'm not paying a bunch of money for a crew and AI and everything else to make this perfect thing. It's just me and my freaking little camera. This is what real life is like, guys.
Yeah, I much prefer that. What about you, Carl? What, are you seeing anything slowing down apart from your internet connection?
Yeah. I need to do more to afford a better connection, don't I?
No, you're fine now. You're fine now.
No, actually, I mean, in the short term, I don't know how it'll affect it long term, but I'm busier than I've ever been. I've never been as busy as I am now. More and more people. I think it's creating a bit of a rush. Certainly, I've had lots of people looking at rentals. You know, hey, look, I want to get in before the end of the year. I'll take anything. I'm not, you know, these people are perhaps not planning as they should, and but lots of people. I was in Lisbon last week with 2 different families looking for rentals, and they're just doing it on the hop. Like, we were planning on coming in April next year or May next year, and now they're saying, look, let's just get in there and get the application process started so that we can hopefully get the NHR. So I think it will affect things, you know, but it's as it's brand new and we don't even know, you know, how it's going to work out yet, when the rules will be implemented, what new rules will take their place, you know, because some people will still be allowed to come here and get some kind of NHR status or tax breaks, you know, for certain businesses or certain professions. So I think probably in 6 months' time we'll know a lot more. But right now, the immediate effects is creating a bit of a rush, and also on property prices. I mean, I think overall, I would say slowing down, but not generally overall going negative. You know, in some places, yes, it's sort of stagnated a bit, but I think overall, if you look at the country as a whole, I was reading something a few days ago, and prices are still up something like 5% on this time last year. So it's still steadily increasing. So, you know, as Veronica was saying, now we all know, more than anything here, there's a shortage of properties. You know, that's not going to go away. That's a multi-year plan that's needed to sort of to change that. That's probably not going to happen. There's always going to be a shortage, and people are still looking to come here from not just the US and the UK, but I mean Brazil. You know, lots of Brazilians coming here, and they're also helping to push up prices. You know, it's a lot of demand. There's still a lot of demand.
Very interesting. And Portugal
can I
always
ask what the nationality is of most of his clients that he's seeing right now? Are you still seeing Americans, or is it British?
I get some from the UK, but most are from the US.
Okay,
for sure. You know, that's just for me within the agents. That's just me. We have agents from all over the world. So, you know, depending on sort of where you specialize and where your network is, then, you know, we have people from Brazil, Germany, places like that, and they're bringing in, you know, contacts from there. I just happen to be. I mean, I'm not from the US, of course, but it's just it's the language thing. You know, it makes me easily relatable, I suppose.
Yes.
And you're good at marketing. Look where you are.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for your personal feedback. You know, where you're at as professionals with the phenomenon of Portuguese real estate, and Portugal always finds itself in a slightly different. You know, we're certainly subject, aren't we? Of course, as all countries are, to the you know, the globalized effects of the world economy, and those sorts of phenomena. But there's something about Portugal that doesn't respond in quite the same way as everywhere else, it would seem. You know, it's like in its particular part in the world pecking order, and other factors going on. You know, like as Antonio is saying here, you know, the 400,000 Brazilians, lots of people are interested coming to Portugal from the former colonies as well. There's all sorts of interesting things going on, the relationship with the EU itself. Portugal seems to be protected from the worst effects, the most brutal effects of global economics and changes, and maybe sort of tucked into a little slipstream behind the world leaders, the G7, G20 kind of effect.
I always say, and not to sound disparaging, that in a lot of ways, people don't really care about Portugal, and that's to its advantage. You know, you can sort of just be sat in the background doing very nicely, enjoying the nice weather, having the nice food, not attracting a lot of negative, you know, getting involved in other countries' problems and things like this. I don't want to get too deep into that, but it's just getting along nicely with its own thing and doing its own thing. And I think that's what makes it a nice, safe place to live. You know, it's a big part of it.
Yes, well said. Yes, it's like at school, isn't it? There are kids like that at school, aren't there? You know, there's the obvious duffers in the class, and the SWAT and the jocks. And you know, if you look at a class of kids, you have the outstanding ones, don't you? The SWATs and the nerds, and you have the outstanding ones on track and field, and you know, who are outstanding literally. And then there are the ones, you know, you're glad you're not like them because they're being held back a year, or their parents are giving them hell or whatever, and they're not doing so well academically. And then there's the ones in the middle, aren't there, who only years later, I don't remember that kid, but he was, you know, now
the quiet, cool kid in the background. That's what Portugal
that's
is.
right. The quiet, cool kid is Portugal, with the classroom analogy there. Nicely put, Carl. I really like that. Antonio Barbosa's here. The quiet, cool kid. Bon dia alegria, happy Thursday. Tony time from the man in the Mino. So let's have a look then at this lovely, we can salivate here with some lovely property that you brought us listed on the agency by Christopher, who you're bringing with you. It'd be nice to hang out with Christopher.
Hi, Christopher. Wednesday. Tell him I said hello, please. He is the coolest, classiest guy ever. I'm so glad he's the team lead.
He's great. He's okay, actually. I won't say it's great. He's okay. He's actually in Austin, Texas at the minute. They've got the agency annual forum. So there's maybe 10 or 12 of us gone over from Portugal. He's just got back from visiting the Far East for 2 weeks, Far East and India.
Is he ever here? Is he ever actually in Portugal? We're lucky to have him, aren't we, next Wednesday?
He's an international man of mystery, I have to say.
Yes, quite. And this is one of his listings here at 200 and it's in dollars. Very good. It's 200 and sorry, 2,445,000, and might as well be 446,000 here at Atrazela, and that will be 2.250 million euros if you want it in euros there. And we'll take a look at the pictures now. This is a lovely place. What do you want to say about it, Carl?
It's a fantastic place. 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, recently renovated, just sitting inside Sintra, so not far from Cascais and Alcapidesh. International schools nearby like Tassis, Carluccio. Fantastic area. You're not overlooked by anyone. If you're standing in the garden there, you see all these trees. It's all yours. You know, you've got all that private space. The home itself is beautiful. Got a bit of a country feel going to it, which I like very much. But one of the big bonuses about this place is it's got 2 guest houses as part of the property. So if you've got friends or family staying over, you've got places for them to stay. Or if you need a little side hustle to pay the mortgage, then you know, you'll have a very good income there. You won't be short of people wanting to rent those out in that area. It really is sort of grade A location. So
is it 2 of these type of cabins in the garden? I mean, you would never be free of guests, would you? You'd be sick of people coming to visit if you buy this place. You know,
I love it. I mean, I love having people over from the UK, but my house is a little small, so we're all sort of crammed in. I dream of having something like this in my garden. There's one of those, and there's another one that's more like a traditional type building. But yeah, I mean, lots of options. You know, as the kids get older, you can kick them out into those guest houses. You know, keep a healthy, safe distance from them. Beautiful place.
Each time we look at property, we get a deeper look into your psyche as well about how you'd ideally like to live. And certainly, you know, the pictures improve, don't they? Because it looks quite suburban from this view. It's clearly got a pretty big pool, and as you go into it, it just looks classier and classier. I thought I'd be maybe renting one of those out as well, by the pool there. That's almost an Airbnb in its own right. That little pod there by the pool.
That could be a side hustle from the side hustle, you know.
Outdoor hustle.
€10 a day to sit by the pool.
Yeah. You really have thought this through. And I mean, you see just how classy the construction is inside. This is a beautifully made home, isn't it? Which isn't immediately obvious from the outside, I would say. Beautiful floors, you know, lovely.
I agree. I agree with what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, inside they've done it very tastefully. They kept a lot of the original features, made the best of what's there, and you know, it's had a full renovation. So yeah, beautiful, very nice.
Absolutely love it. And I think we've got a bit of a video as well here. So get in touch with Christopher or Carl. Let's see what happens when we. I think I need to come out of that view and click on the video here and run that.
I would say generally filter through Carl, right?
Sorry, I didn't mean to play the music there. Sorry, carry on, Veronica. What were we saying?
Oh no, I would say filter everything through Carl, because Carl, if it doesn't fit that exact one, Carl could find something else for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
I mean, that's just like real estate. Like, you know, he's the one on the show. So everything to him.
Let's have a quick listen. Let's get to know Christopher a little bit better here.
Which you can use for various purposes, family and friends, or even renting, which is one of the propositions that you have at this very unique property here in Cascais. Inside we have French oak floors, wooden kitchen. It's very, very special, very, very unique. And I really recommend that you come and discover it for yourself. 16 solar panels, your own water supply. It's all-rounder, which is quite a rare one nowadays. It's a real special one. So come and discover it for yourself this amazing property that we have here.
Very good. Love that. Love that place. Veronica, are you okay? You disappeared from the screen. You were choking on tea for a minute. Oh, hold on a minute. And I muted you.
What is he's talking? I love you, Christopher. Don't take that as a bad thing. I just tea the wrong way.
Yeah, it was tea done. Yeah.
Oh, there's so many things you could go there. Right,
okay, I'll move on. Bon dia all, just back from the garage. The car needs a heater, defogger fixed. What is a defogger? Oh, is that a demister on there? Okay, well, Suze, thank you for that insight into life in central Portugal. I hope you're doing okay. And how's Baddy doing? Must drop Baddy a line, who's not stranded, but in Iceland at the moment, keeping an eye on volcanic activity, ready to evacuate. I mean, this is the reality for some people over there at the moment. I'd love to buy something like this, says Doug, responding to the beautiful property there from the agency. Fantastic country estate in Cascais. What are my options as a non-resident? Am I going to get bogged down by that dreaded 90-day rule? You must have had this question before, both of you. Carl, would you like to respond to that? Here's somebody from the UK who doesn't want to become a Portuguese resident, but would like to buy that property. They can do that. There's nothing to stop them. You don't have to be a resident to buy property. Going back to basics.
You have to be a resident, but yeah, I mean, you'll just have to manage your time carefully, you know, but you know, so you don't fall foul of the rules here. And then also the rules in the UK. It's really just about time management, but there's nothing to restrict you from owning. Buying property, really.
And roughly speaking, you can be here for 3 months out of every 6, right? And you could follow a kind of snowbird kind of pattern with that. It's a bit of a drag, but that's I guess
there's
that's
a
what you're
caveat. If you still have investment money, you can still do golden visa in other ways.
Yes,
so you can still, and then with that, then you only, you know, you don't have to be here or there any specific time.
True.
But if you're going to be here more than 90 days, why wouldn't you just get a visa?
Yeah, absolutely right. And I think more and more people are thinking like that now, aren't they? You know, we have a comment here. We have a hello from Mama Lama. Good morning from Virginia.
Hi,
thank you to everyone in America who's listening at this ungodly hour for you. And you say all prices way out of our retirement budget there. And yeah, understand that. And of course, I think with what's gone on in the last few months, people are thinking not necessarily so much about retirement and living on a pension, but maybe coming here and living on investment, thinking about investment and coming out of retirement, as it were, as a form of getting residency here in Portugal. I think that's what you were alluding to there, right, Veronica? You can invest in Portugal and get yourself a residency.
Yeah. And I think what she's saying, price is way out of retirement. It's just too expensive to buy. But there's a lot of places within the United States that if you sell, so it's not like just a retirement home. If you sell your house, then you can pay cash here. Maybe not a 4 million, but there's definitely ones 1, 2, 3, and depending on where you want to live. There's places in the country that cost less. Ours is Villarreal is still the best kept secret down here. You know, yeah, you can 200 or 300, you can still buy a place. There's, you know, at the beach and the river. Don't think 4 million is the only way.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I mean, I try to show some nicer or more interesting properties when we come on the show. But I mean, you can easily spend, you know, depending on what your requirements are. I mean, you can spend in the low hundreds of thousands, depending on where you want to live in the country, and you still get some very, very nice houses for all that money. So, you know, this is just a small representation of what's available. You know, you can. There's a whole spectrum of options for sure.
Yeah, well said.
And we have 2 rentals that just came up at $850 a month. Wow. And they're annual rentals, and one is 18 months, and that's 2 blocks from the river. And then just, you know,
look at that backdrop behind Veronica there. You can still get a rental for $850. So
now those come very rarely. They just popped up, so it might disappear. But just know if you are in the right place and you're listening, like I threw it out on my newsletter. I'm sure he's got a newsletter. If you can jump, you can do it. You can. Okay,
I just need to check. Mrs. M, are you on a barefoot broadcast in a minute? Oh, she is. Okay, I can't believe it. It's 3 minutes to 10. We got to go, guys. But there are questions here that need answering. Mama Lama, I hope that comes as some consolation that not all prices might be out of your retirement budget. Keep looking. Keep considering Portugal. Get some help from the folks here. With that, I'd love to buy, says Doug. I'd like to buy something like this. Oh, that we already dealt with that. But you had something else to say, I think, here, Doug. I have recently, there we go. Recently sold my late father's property and need a new investment because cash is still pretty useless. We need to talk. Buy that one we've just seen, Doug. I'll live there as a caretaker for you and then welcome you for 90 days every 6 months, and we'll keep it nice for you. What's wrong with that plan? With 90 days, my requirement is easy maintenance. Yes, I can take care of that for you. Ubi's in as well. We got a question to finish with for you two. What Carl H said is an important factor for me. Portugal is off the radar as a target for most of the evil in the world, nations and terrorists. Resonating with what you said there, Carl H, earlier on. Yeah, look at that, Doug. You saw it, everybody. That's as good as a digital handshake for me, as far as I'm concerned. The Portuguese have a fine tradition at Masters of Diplomacy and have stayed mostly safe from foreign invasions. And they've got some great allies on the world stage, including the British, hey, Carl, as well. And a final question. Sorry if I didn't get to your questions this morning. We've got a couple of minutes to go. Mrs. M is literally, as you can see, breathing down my neck and giving me a massage here. Questions for the experts. That'll be you, Carl and Veronica. Is there any truth to the rumor that Portugal plans to restrict property purchases to residents only? This is an important question. We'll finish with this today. No foreign purchase unless also a resident. Have you heard anything about this, Carl Hyde, from the agency?
No, I think that's just pure scaremongering. I think that's clickbait videos. Not heard anything about it. I think it would be a complete disaster for the country as a whole. So I would say the chance, I mean, I've not got a crystal ball, but I would be completely shocked if that was to happen. Clickbait, scaremongering, I could
stop
say.
It. Just stop it. No chance. Okay, we don't want that, do we? I've got dad jokes for you as well after Veronica's reply to that question there from Joao de Norte.
I like to sit back and wait and make sure that it's factual. And so I would Google that to an actual directorate from the government or who said it or where it came from, kind of like a snoop in the state. You see if it's even real. I try not to respond to that stuff. That's
quite right too.
Said she said.
Yep. All right. Perfect. And let's
no clickbait.
No clickbait. And no.
But I'm going to try it.
Stop
I'll tell you about it next month.
You know who you are. Stop doing those faces on your YouTube slides. Right. Okay. Turkey pot pie. My 3 favorite things. Very naughty. What ends with T and begins with W? Oh, so it does. Yes. Very good. And going outdoors is easier than going out windows. I guess that's true as well. Thank you very much for those dad jokes. And Mama Lama, final word. We are retired military, so hope to eventually connect with Veronica too. Mama Lama, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, everybody. And thank you. those of you who've joined us from Veronica's channel. Thanks, Carl Hyde. Thank you, Veronica, American in Portugal. Have a lovely trip, Veronica, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, everybody. See you tonight. Yes, to that question about Gilda, she'll be on the Dream Team tonight. I'll see you there, and the Vet Animal Special on the webinar at 7:30 tonight. See you then. Take care. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao, everybody. Have a great day.
Bom dia, Portugal!
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.